She had always been told that her worth was measured by the number of suitors who came to her door. But as the years passed, one after another, those doors of opportunity slammed shut, leaving her heart bruised and her spirit questioning her place in the world. She was not without beauty, and certainly not without kindness. Yet every young man who came to court her seemed to vanish once he looked deeper, as if her soul, honest and unmasked, was too much for those who only wanted perfection on the surface. At gatherings she watched other women laugh, twirl in gowns, and leave with men whose eyes burned with desire, while she lingered quietly at the edges, rejected not for her flaws, but for her strength, for her unwillingness to bend into someone else's mold. The whispers grew over time, neighbors saying she was destined for spinsterhood, family members lowering their voices when her name came up, friends urging her to change her ways, to soften, to settle. The cruelest part was not that men walked away, but that she began to wonder if maybe they were right. Nights grew longer as she sat by the window, watching the moon spill silver across the fields, asking, God, if there would ever be someone brave enough to see her heart and not fear it. Then one autumn, when the leaves fell in golden cascades and the air smelled of earth and harvest, a stranger rode into town. He was not polished, nor dressed in finery. He came on horseback, boots dusty, hat tilted low, carrying with him the rawness of a man who worked the land. People called him the Cowboy, though few knew his name. Unlike the others, he did not avoid her gaze. Instead, his eyes met hers as if searching for the very secrets she had kept locked away. And instead of turning away, he nodded gently, as though he had found something he had long been seeking. The town gossiped again, mocking the idea that someone so rugged would look her way. But for the first time she felt no sting of their words. He approached her without grand gestures, without flowery promises, simply standing beside her as if to say he was not afraid of who she was. Days turned into weeks, and though their conversations were few, they were laced with meaning, and in his presence she found a peace she had never known. She realized he was not there to change her or tame her spirit, but to walk with her just as she was. The rejections of the past no longer mattered, because here was a man who said yes, not with words but with action, with consistency, with quiet strength. It was in that stillness she realized that those closed doors had been guiding her to this one, an unexpected opening that was far stronger than anything she had once prayed for. If you are listening now, remember this: rejection is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is God's way of protecting you until the right one arrives. And if you want more stories that stir your heart, that remind you of hope, love, and destiny, make sure you subscribe to this. The Cowboy's presence in her life was like rain falling gently after a long drought. She had grown used to emptiness, to yearning for something that never seemed to come. But now, with him, every moment felt alive. He never promised riches, nor did he paint dreams of castles in the sky. What he gave her was something far greater: stability, truth, and unwavering care. He worked the land tirelessly, and she often joined him, their hands dirt-stained and tired, but their hearts full. Their bond grew not in glamorous gestures, but in the small, steady rhythm of shared life, tending to the cattle at sunrise, cooking simple meals at dusk, sitting together by the fire while the crickets sang in the dark. With each passing season, the wounds of her past rejections healed, replaced by the quiet assurance that love is not found in grand beginnings, but in endurance, in the choice to stand side by side through every storm. And then one spring morning, as blossoms burst across the fields, she held in her arms the miracle she never thought she would know: her child. Becoming a mother awakened something in her that words could not capture. She remembered those lonely nights when she thought her life would amount to nothing. And now she looked down into tiny eyes that mirrored both her and the Cowboy, and she wept with gratitude. The world that had once whispered doubts about her future now had no power over her, for she had built her own. Motherhood was not without its struggles: sleepless nights, worries about the future, the overwhelming responsibility of nurturing a new life. But every time she saw the cowboy cradle their baby, every time he whispered promises of protection to their child, her heart knew she had chosen right, and he had chosen her. Together, they created a family not out of perfection but out of perseverance, out of faith that love can bloom even in barren soil. Her story became a beacon for others, a reminder that rejection is never the final word. Sometimes all those no's are preparing you for the sweetest yes, one that will transform your life forever. And if you are listening right now, holding on to hope, waiting for your own story to shift, let this be your reminder. Do not give up. Your cowboy moment, your miracle, may be closer than you think. And to keep walking this journey of stories, hope and inspiration with us, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Each tale is a seed planted in your heart, and together we can watch them bloom.